Every day, thousands of feet above the cities of Australia, vital weather information is radioed back to our meteorological experts. The tiny electronic brain which obtains the information and transmits it back to Earth starts its life right here. Accurate weather information is collected from over 38 weather stations dotted over the Australian continent. Humidity, air pressure, wind direction and strength. All these are gathered by the radio sonde high above the Earth's surface. Every one of these parts, down to the most minute contact lug, is not only assembled by the one organization, it's actually manufactured by it. Transmitters of this type are expendable. Even though they will parachute back to Earth from great heights, they must be made economically enough to be replaceable day by day. All this is but one tiny part of the huge industrial complex known as Electronic Industries Limited, an organization of amazing diversity. Possibly, few people realize the extent to which the vast manufacturing resources of this complex have touched the lives of all of us. The radio, the television, the car radio,
all traffic running very smoothly in the south tonight.
The vending machine, the bicycle, the electronic devices that check on the weather for airliners, ship's radar, the teenager's transistor, the radiogram. All these come from the Electronics Industries Group. Electronic Industries is manufacturing the incredible total of over 500,000 widely diversified products annually. The range of these products covers everything from furniture to telephones, with manufacturing centers operating in various parts of the Commonwealth. In New South Wales, Electronic City, TM Telephone Manufacturing Company Proprietary Limited, and A.W. Jackson Industries. In Adelaide, the Astor House of South Australia. In Brisbane, the headquarters for all Queensland. The group's activities in West Australia are controlled from the headquarters and administration centre housed in this beautiful new building at Belmont, a suburb of Perth. Sandovers, a wholly owned subsidiary of Electronic Industries, holds exclusive franchise for many of the lines it handles. The company maintains a statewide sales, service and parts operation with local branches in each major country centre, a significant contribution to the rapid industrial development of the West. To effectively speed handling of goods in this huge warehouse, the company installed a tow-veyor system. This system is ideal for moving the vastly differing shapes and sizes of the items stored. Rapid turnaround of transport, essential in an operation of this kind, is achieved by using diagonal docking. A number of divisions occupy the 17-acre site at Belmont, the steel yard, for instance, supplying material to construction and engineering contractors. Engineering, irrigation and agricultural equipment is available in a range covering water pumps and forklift trucks to lathes. At Subiaco, the engineering assembly work supplies and maintains heavy mining and earth-moving equipment. The first order Sandovers obtained for Dart Trucks, the world's largest truck, was worth over $250,000, a remarkable achievement. 1,800 miles away, Astor House in Hobart serves as headquarters for a network of shops and warehouses in Tasmania. The Lockboard division of Tasmanian Homecraft manufactures and supplies packing boxes for fruit growers, meeting the special size and standard requirements of primary producers. In Launceston, W. Hart & Sons, a wholly owned subsidiary of the group, supplies, like Sandovers in Perth, a great variety of equipment. This chain of supply and service outlets caters for the requirements of primary producers and industry throughout the island state. One whole division devoted entirely to export and import handles merchandise of an extraordinary range, including machine tools, radio and electrical equipment, scientific instruments and business machines. With its headquarters in Melbourne and branches in all mainland cities, installation and after-sales service are on a national basis. It takes a skilled staff to handle instruments such as spectrophotometers or electron microscopes. They deal with communication receivers, oscilloscopes, transceivers, stereophonic amplifiers. This quantometer, a direct reading spectrograph, is capable of completely analyzing samples in 2 minutes. This is a typical installation in a customer's laboratory. It receives the same thorough testing as does every item in a vast range from cricket bats to stereograms. The holding company, which is the hub of this all-embracing organization, is situated at Astor House in Melbourne. From here, the work of 6,000 employees right throughout the nation is coordinated. Contracting, manufacturing, selling, financing, buying, storing, servicing, installing. The work of coordinating all these aspects over such a large area calls for efficiency of the highest order. Imagine the paperwork alone behind the manufacturing, selling, and distribution of over 500,000 products each year. Yet another service provided by Astor comes through their Universal Guarantee division. Because of its own retailing experience, Astor understands the needs and problems of the smallest retailer. For over 30 years, Universal Guarantee has protected the retailer while at the same time helping the final all-important step, the sale. A hire purchase scheme is readily available to the intending purchaser, and this has helped retail sales in every capital city from Darwin to Hobart, Sydney to Perth. First, the customer's name and address is checked out, then the credit rating. When all avenues have been cleared, the contract is accepted and the check paid out. From this point, the retailer's worries are all over, as the transaction is now in the capable hands of Universal Guarantee. All contracts entered into over the last 20 years are retained as part of a huge and complex record of transactions for future reference, while the present-day accounts are kept up to date by modern electronic equipment. Every transaction carries its own card with name, type of unit, terms of contract, and all relevant statistics. Any customer's account can be immediately checked. Amounts paid, amounts due, and all with the assurance of computer-like accuracy. Choosing accounts is one thing any retailer can happily do without. He's happy to make the sale, the customer is happy with the product, and the retailer is happy with yet another service provided by Astor. It is on manufacturing that this vast company is based. Manufacture of items the size of television transmitters down to component parts of microscopic dimension. If we were to take one article in common daily use, for example, a TV radiogram, and watch its evolution from the basic raw materials, we would look in on a whole world of manufacture. From the raw materials of timber and veneer, Gainsborough Furniture, a wholly owned subsidiary of Electronic Industries, produces the cabinets whose beauty will grace the living rooms of homes throughout Australia. Using only the world's finest timbers and most beautiful veneers, many specialized operations are brought into being, often involving new techniques. Spectacular developments of polyester finishes have meant that Gainsborough cabinet surfaces are impervious to boiling water, acids and alcohol. This brilliant glass-like surface is a new development in furniture and almost exclusive in Australia to Gainsborough. Gainsborough has been identified with Astor since the early days of domestic radio. But now, in addition, they have rapidly expanded into the manufacture of general furniture, such as bedroom suites, dining room suites, occasional furniture, and inner spring mattresses. Germanium transistors and diodes, silicon rectifiers, power transistors, and other minute components are part of today's advanced world of electronics. These are all manufactured by the Anodian Semiconductor division of the group. Here, with the aid of high-powered microscopes, the products are made, processed, sorted, tested, and prepared for their manifold uses in the electronic markets of Australia. Much of the work is automatic. Machines such as this one, which is sealing glass diodes, work with a fantastic accuracy typical of the precision necessary in the industry as a whole. Solid-state devices, or semiconductors as they are often called, culminated in the invention of the transistor in 1948. Since that comparatively recent event, transistors have made greater advances in their range and applications than valves have made in 50 years. A transistor has a reliability factor about 5 times greater than a valve. Anodian transistors, for instance, have reduced by 75% the need to service car radios. Apart from supplying the major electronic manufacturers in Australia, Anodian is a supplier to such establishments as the Postmaster General's Department and the Woomera Rocket Range. Anodian's electronic laboratory is one of the most elaborately equipped of its type in Australia. It prepares designs of the specialized test equipment needed for the production of semiconductor devices and undertakes the important matter of application techniques as a service to customers. Of course, semiconductors and transistors are only part of the story. All the other component parts for the TV radiogram have to be made. Even the smallest metal lugs have to be stamped out prior to assembly. And at Astor, they even make the machines that make the parts. An air-conditioned, dust-filtered factory area is essential for the manufacture of capacitors. It also provides very comfortable working conditions. Minimum time loss machines wind the capacitor plates of metal foil sandwich fashion with a polyester dielectric material to form the basic capacitor element. After pressing to a constant length, at which time they are automatically given a voltage breakdown test, the elements are made ready to receive their leads. Soldering is carried out almost instantaneously by passing heavy current through special spiral heating coils. To protect the capacitor from mechanical damage and moisture, a thermoplastic material, here being formed into strips, is molded to the basic element. Heat and pressure during molding cures the plastic to a rock-hard finish. The full electrical characteristic of every capacitor is then thoroughly checked. After a mechanical inspection, each unit has its identifying marks printed on indelibly by rotary offset machines, and following a sample quality control inspection, the capacitors are packed for dispatch. A high proportion, some 6 million per year, of the capacitors manufactured here are used within the group's own factories. Radio Corporation is the largest manufacturing subsidiary of Electronic Industries Limited. The testing of products is in itself a major undertaking. Over 100 expert testers are continually employed in ensuring the highest standard of quality and after-sales reliability of Astor products. Briefly then, the work of Radio Corporation is to take an idea and translate it into the practical forms of styling, manufacture, and economical production. New materials, new ideas, new manufacturing methods, all these mean a constantly changing pattern of styles and products, but always the trend is to more sophistication, greater economy. Electronic Industries believe that the greatest economy can be achieved by total production, right down to the very knobs on the TV or radio set. Every type of electroplating is carried out to suit the style of the product and the taste of the buyer. Nickel, chrome, copper, cadmium, zinc, or barrel plating. And at Astor, everything that looks like gold is gold. 23-carat gold, as developed for use in space projects. After-sales follow-up and servicing plays a very important part in electronic industries operations. The group is fully equipped to maintain and service all of its products: television receivers, washing machines, air conditioners. Installation of equipment is also catered for most fully. Here, an expert installs an Astor tape mate in a customer's car. The tape mate, a precision-engineered unit, plays pre-recorded music from music cassettes. Music of your choice, wherever you go. This complete service cover through over 4,000 retailers extends to users of Astor products from Hobart to Darwin. Electronic Industries produced its first receivers 4 years before TV was introduced to Australia. This was the result of the thorough fundamental television planning they set in motion some years before that date. Since then, Electronic Industries have developed to the point where they now plan, procure, and install television station equipment. They train the transmitter operators. In short, they cover both ends of the TV wavelength: transmitter and receiver. Even the records placed on the turntables come within the manufacturing scope of Electronic Industries, here at the Record Division. An automatic disc cutting lathe cuts either monaural or stereo tracks in the original acetate. Before the matrix can be completed, the acetate is silvered. From here to the plating division for a hard coating of nickel. And now the die is ready for pressing out a steady flow of records for the Australian market. The soft biscuits of non-breakable material come from each press at the rate of some 60 to 100 an hour. Quality control has to be perfect, with tapes, matrix and finished pressings receiving continual visual and audio inspections from a staff which includes both musicians and audio engineers. Even the jackets for the discs are produced within the group. Over 250,000 record covers in full color printing of the highest international standard are turned out each year from the printing division. Printing of all types is carried out on a battery of offset, automatic cylinder, and platen machines, not to mention a unique machine which creases, folds, and glues record covers automatically. Within the record division, tape transferring is also carried out. The 2-track master tapes, many of which originate overseas, are first transferred to 4-track half-inch submasters. During transfer, corrections are made where necessary to volume level and quality. The submaster tapes are transferred to duplicators, and after bias adjustments are made, the submaster and slave tapes are started. During transfer, the slaves run at 8 times the normal playback speed, and 4 tracks are recorded simultaneously. This high-speed transfer system, developed by Astor, is unique in Australia and enables electronic industries to meet the growing demand for high-quality but inexpensive tapes. Cassette players are becoming increasingly popular. The tapes for these are also produced here. In this case, the master tape is automatically rewound and cued to the music start. This allows the slave tapes to be recorded continuously on large reels. The finished reel, which now has 4 recorded tracks on it, is cut to length and spooled on tailoring machines. Special signals recorded on the tape control the operation, starting and stopping the machine at precisely the right moment. The spools are then assembled into the cassettes, inspected and packaged. What could be more diverse in production than printed record jackets and bicycles? Here is yet another division, General Accessories and D.C. Harris, capable of turning out the Commonwealth's entire annual requirements for cycles. Despite today's preoccupation with space-age technology and methods, electronic industries hold great respect for craftsmanship, a respect shown in practical terms where the group continues to use and foster the skills of master craftsmen. Half a century of cycle manufacturing by this division has given Australia such famous names as Morven Star, Speedwell, Holland, Austral, Pacemaker, Preston Star, the Molten. And now the most revolutionary design of all, the Dragstar. Manufacturing such a vast diversity of products necessitates machinery of every conceivable type and size. Over 100 skilled toolmakers are employed turning out press dies, ranging from small ones needed for tiny radio lugs to others weighing 3.5 tons. Once again, making the parts to make the parts. $250-ton presses like this are the first stage of Operation Refrigerator in this part of the EIL complex. While only the latest and best machinery is used for the 101 stages of manufacture, the attitude of every employee to his or her job has much to do with the high quality of the group's products. The appliance plant is the birthplace of the wide range of high-quality electrical household and commercial appliances. Refrigerators, washing machines, dishwashers, clothes dryers, and all the other aids which the public of Australia has come to know and to rely on. Plastics are used in the construction of the inner door linings of the refrigerators, and these are formed in huge molding dies, which are themselves made by electronic industries. That's the difference. No point is overlooked to ensure the complete satisfaction of the ultimate purchaser. Everything is checked and inspected over and over again. Each product is guaranteed, and that means it must outperform sales specifications before it leaves the factory. The potential production capacity of the division is in the region of 200,000 appliances every 12 months. The refrigerator plant alone is capable of turning out more than 200 units a day. Goods find their way to the Australian buyers through 4,000 or more retail outlets, while an ever-increasing number of EIL products is being sold abroad on the export markets. It is the ability of electronic industries to handle everything from the manufacture of a tiny grub screw to the installation of an entire television station that is bringing more and more orders from government departments as well as companies outside the EIL complex. The holding company, acting as landlord to the group as a whole, operates with shareholders' funds in excess of $13 million, an investment spread over the entire nation. A mighty step forward from the small basement shop where it all started just over 40 years ago. Today, we're bursting at the seams. That is how all this activity was summed up by the man who launched this industry in 1922, the late Sir Arthur Warner.
Yes, it's now 44 years since we started in the basement in Swanston Street. Only had 3 people then, of course. Now we have 6,000. And of course, during the whole of that period, there's been a tremendous growth in electronics. It's developed in many directions. Until today, we've got sophisticated defense equipment, TV, computers, and the space age, and probably a lot more things to come. During the whole of this time, of course, electronics has struggled to keep pace with the very natural expansion, and I expect my successors will be struggling for the next 44 years to keep pace with the inevitable expansion which will take place.
You have just heard some words that were spoken by my late father in an earlier edition of this film. To him must go thanks of every one of us for the very solid basis on which our company is established. He foresaw the tremendous challenge with which electronics would confront the world. Every one of us encounters the art of electronics in one form or another many times a day. From comparatively simple devices, it extends to equipment of complexity such as one finds in navigation, communication, and rocketry. We as a company will have a number of important projects to keep us busy in the years immediately ahead. Colour television, stereo FM broadcasting, the growth of small transistorized equipment for many purposes. We will, in increasing measure, become involved in contracts for the supply of specialised equipment to a variety of government departments and to the defence authorities. But important as these things will be, it is to the field of education that a number of the world's greatest electronic scientists are turning their attention. We are watching all developments in this field, and already we have made a small beginning. We are making language laboratories of a very high standard for use in universities, colleges and schools throughout Australia. We are making special TV sets to the standards and specifications of the education authorities for use in classrooms. We have installed the world's most modern equipment for the dubbing of tape and anticipate that this will lead into an era of talking books. Because of the increasing shortage of teachers of the calibre demanded by higher and higher educational standards, some of the world's best brains are turning to a solution of the problems of mass education. One such project is the creation of a new concept of a library, which will bring together the technology of the computer and the tape recording industries. The student will be able to go to the library and press a button, and the computer will deliver to him a taped version of the whole or any part of any reference work he wants. If he is unable to go to the library, he will be able to dial the library and the work of reference will be automatically played to him. If he wants to see films on a particular subject, he will again be able to push a button at the library and see them on videotape. Around me at Electronic Industries is a dedicated team of men and women who realise that our future is unlimited and their horizons are boundless. They are eager to be up and doing in a field that is so full of challenge. It is a wonderful thing to have such support, and with it, we will in the years to come encompass an era of new ventures that are challenging in the immenseness of the possibilities.
You have seen some of the many reasons why we say it's an Astor. That's the difference.